There we go. Hey, good morning, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, weekly check in for Creativity 202. We got Joe and Chun Long. My work in progress was covered in Foundations. You should listen to that. It was great, I think. We'll see. And we'll get started right away with Joe, who's on the road in a pack of bikers holding his phone in his hand. That is the definition of a compound critical state. So let's do it right. Go ahead.
All right, sounds good. Good week on reflecting on this stuff, and my drawing actually included elements that are going to course through my day and even this drive while I'm talking and listening to you guys. I'm on lesson 4 of creativity, and it's called, fight this battle, not the last one, and I call it live to fight another day. And the analogy of entering the ready room to prepare ourselves for trading is something that I'm incorporating better and better. And my visual was actually a bridge going over the intercoastal waterway to enter into the ready room. And it's a bridge I used to go over when I was going to go for a jog on the beach when I got too stressed out at my office. And I always had the visual of, as I was going down the bridge, I could see the ocean and the beach in front of me, and I would offload all my stuff so that when I started running, I could come up with new analogies as markets as a metaphor for life, or jogging as a metaphor for life, or life as a metaphor for markets, and all the different ways things are interconnected, like that graphic over your right shoulder, Ken. Um, and then I enter the ready room, and I've had multiple ready rooms in my life, but it occurred to me in watching one of the videos from previous cohorts that the ready room looks kind of like a minimum manageable risk box, actually.
Yeah.
And we enter into that and we sit there knowing, we'll call it the MMRB before the market opens. And we're getting in there. And by the way, the whole Super Trader program was a ready room for me. I analyzed my life through every lesson, and my marriage, which ended up failing as not as a result of it, but as a result of everything I learned through the program. And that analogy is very powerful for me. So I really do need to take the time to reset and offload all of the different beliefs and things that might impact my decision making once the bell rings, so to speak. The tunnel was just a long enough period in order for me to emerge from the other end and look at what's in front of me. And that is the vast wilderness of the markets, where absolutely anything can happen no matter what I think. And my best analogy for that is when I come over this bridge, which I'm crossing the intercoastal in a minute here. I get down and I look at the ocean, and today it's flat as a lake, but there's a vast wilderness right under the surface there, because I know there's sharks and porpoises and hundreds of thousands of anchovies swimming around there and all the things feeding on them. And I'm just waiting for my opportunity to take what I need out of it. So putting this together, I can see running through the recorded session of my own voice and seeing this in different ways every time I listen to it, and perhaps working towards a core set of thoughts that get me to that zero state in the morning, and then maybe have a little variation on it after that. Um, and with that visualization, I will say aho and pass the baton.
Awesome. Chunlong.
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, first, that foundation course is really what I needed in last 2 weeks. My mind, deep into the data I generated into the spreadsheet, try to figure out how to use all those informations. So you gave a good 1.5 hour summary of the foundation. Really appreciate that. Really, really useful. So the word for me last week is acceptance. Dr. Van Sarp said that the minimum level of consciousness need to be a trader to make money or become a good trader. I reflect on that last week. It's really true. If I don't accept what happened, I cannot trade well. It's often happened to me. I make a big loss, cannot recover from that just because I don't accept the fact of losing money. So that is a theme for me last about a couple of years. It's not a couple of years, maybe 5 years now. So I really need to keep my thought on the acceptance level of consciousness. My work in progress last week, I read some articles about asset allocation. Really useful for me, especially something related to the ETF2 and BMR. Also read the backtest result you put on along with the course. Try to understand, how do I use that backtest to reinforce my beliefs. I know that's a good system, BMR or ETF2. How can I believe that in deeper mind? I know that's a good result. What else I need to plot that system so I can treat that in a consistent way. The other work I did, I added new pages to my spreadsheet. One page is the risk Z score, the VIX scores. So you present that in your daily report. I didn't think I needed to reproduce that, but I thought about that. How do I use that? I need to make sense of that chart. So I decided to look into the way how to calculate that. That end up with a, not exact same presentation, but similar. Also add a SQN page. So the SQN 100 days is Dr. Van Sap's, stuff, how to use that as a market type. I learned that a lot. I know how to do that, just haven't used that a lot. So, with the risk Z chart beside that, I can make sense of that two charts. The third page I add to my spreadsheet is the slope of RL30. I like that, just haven't think about that, how to use that, just to make sense of that. So I just look at the calculations, look at the, you present that 180 days, I believe. So I look at the 10 years, what those Z-score really means. How can I use that? So put all those three together, see something, the critical states. So they may give different score for that, but I can look at that. If one give me a signal, I have to look into, the chart to understand that. That's what I did last week. So beyond the trading courses, deep in my mind is the macro trend. What happened in China is really my deep concern. The real estate bubble and the collapse of that bubble deeply impact on China and Chinese and all those my dear life relatives and family members there. So that's a trend I have deeply concerned. The other things happening is what will happen to India. Will India replace China as a economic engine? How that will impact on my ETF trading, like the BMR ETF2. Actually, I added the India ETF to my watch list. The next one may be Mexico. There have a lot happening, so that's already in the ETF list. My trading last week, this is only one share trade the ETF. So I like a BMR. I also like ETF2, but I understand that's two different systems. So how do I trade it? So how do I understand the rules? The only way to get a real useful understanding of that is the one share trading. So I did that last 2 weeks. Last week, I take one more trade. That's the marijuana ETF, MSOS. It gave me a kind of kata 2 entry on the daily charts, but it's stopped me out 2 days later. I still hold one position. That's a ETF XOP. That's a trending stuff there. I already raised my stop to no lose plus for 2. So even for practice purpose, I don't want to lose money on that. So the other reason I like the ETF too, it's give me a better position sizing strategy. If I use something else as market type, let's say use SQN 100, what it gave me, either 100% invested or 0%. I don't like that. I like the ETF too, you get 100% gradually to 0%. Right now it's 0%. What I do, I go to lower time frame, go to the one share trading, still give me a chance to practice. So that's why I really like that. Let's move on to my next week work. I will focus on the PPT on my presentation. I think about that a lot, but cannot get my mind out of those things. How do I present, make it useful for myself, also useful to the listeners, to the community. That's why I'm kind of stuck in there. So next week, I promise I finish that, present that. Yeah, that's my plan for next week. I hope.
For Joe, what I wanted to say was just reflect a little bit on the power of that, of making the sketches, and in Chunlong's recreating the spreadsheet. The creation of those artifacts is a statement of commitment and purpose and intention that reveals insights that you only get when you're engaged in the creative process itself of taking action to go into something to get it's huge. It's really important. And on the sketch of the the ready room, that primitive thing that looks like a MMRB, yeah. And notice that the thick wall that the tunnel goes through, that's almost like, the Great Wall of China that protects the empire against the barbarians. And then the ready room is, you've moved through that, and now you're in your little base camp and you've established your perimeter, and now you're ready to start engaging in that existential struggle. So that communicates some of the seriousness of the intent. So the model that you choose for your metaphor for trading really is significant psychologically. I mean, if you treat trading as just gardening, you have a certain level of anxiety or urgency or set of behaviors that are appropriate for a gardener. If you've framed it as, preserving the empire, it gives you a different flavor. Not and any of them are true. And then I want to connect it back to Chunlong's to give you some a sense of ease for the presentation. Think about the intended audience and embody one person to represent the audience you're talking to, and that's your mom or your dad or the child you've chosen to take care of the family for the next generation who doesn't know anything about trading, and you're trying to express it as simply and directly to them from your heart to their heart about the essential ideas, patiently, with no expectation that they're bringing any preconceived notions in there. This is a true storytelling circle of a workshop in which all you've got to do is use your voice to tell your story authentically as a gift to the community. It's up to them to figure out what to do with it or how to do with it or ask more questions about it. It's your job to be as pure to what it is that you are discovering about your journey so far. It's your self-report, your spot report of what you've seen and done and know and experienced, and what you're certain about, what you're uncertain about, whatever it may be that you feel is important to tell around the campfire. If this is your cave painting in that sense. So the good news is you can't do it wrong because it's 100% what you want. That may not make it easier to do it, but just start going, make some sketches and go. And the story will end up, when you surrender to the story, it will go where it needs to go. Much like it happened to me this morning. I was like, well, there it is. I'm in the middle of that story. I couldn't stop it. I was like, well, here, got to go all the way through to the end. And the story will help to tell itself. And you will be a good vessel for it. And that the confidence and relaxation that comes from surrendering to your own story will also help you surrender to the story of your trade, because you've told a story about it, or it's trying to tell you a story, and you've recognized what it is, and you put a certain risk on it, and you have a certain management so it can't be harmful, and then you just let the thing be what it is. That will actually help you as you think about achieving zero state in your own work. So just relax. Look at how the other guys did it in some of theirs. They just got in and talked. Ken Hums was very good in terms of telling his journey and then the so what of it. I thought that's one, that's in that course that I saw you had accepted the invite to. And so that's one that's definitely worth listening to.
I
To
watched
give you,
his
to,
presentation
yeah.
at least 5 times now.
I know, it's so good. Me too. Every time I listen to it, I get something new out of it. That was an amazing gift from him to us. So anyway, I'm gonna say aho and hit the tones. And I'm gonna invite you guys to think of your word for the week, and then we'll listen to those, and then that'll close the session, and then off we go to the next event. I'm going to the soccer field today to watch a couple makeup games. They need me to unlock the complex and to be the adult in charge. So I'm going to go do that shortly. All right, take good care, guys. And this is the tone, listening for the word for the week. Here we go. Chunlong.
Patient.
Joe.
Procession.
And mine is artifact. All right, this will move us out of the sacred space into coffee talk and then out the door. We've already put in a pretty long day of work. So thanks for hanging in there.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken, and thanks, Chunlong.
Thank you, Joe.
Bye, guys.
Ciao for now, fellas. Take good care.
Bye now.